Ella es matrona, especialista en partos en casa desde hace 42 años y es también enfermera registrada en California, Estados Unidos. Al tiempo ella es profesora y forma parte del equipo de la formación Castellino en terapia pre, perinatal y nacimiento. También es terapeuta, se formó en biodinámica craneosacral y somatic experiencing.
Pleasure. I love talking about this work. So let's see. The pre and perinatal psychology work has had such a huge impact on my life, both personally as well as professionally. And when I took Ray Castellino's training, I got so excited and passionate about this work because it so turned my perspective around for how I perceived birth, how I perceived myself, and how I perceived others. And as a midwife, when I went through the educational program to become a registered nurse, the perspective of the education was that birth was an experience that was done by the mother mostly, that the mother had contractions, the mother's body, her cervix dilated and opened, and she pushed the baby out, and the end product was baby. And when I took Ray's training, I started to see the birth from the perspective of the baby, which was totally a different journey. And I really got in my body the felt sense of how the baby fully participates in the birth along with the mother, that they do the journey together. The baby is not just a passive passenger that's being pushed through the pelvis and into this world, but the baby is fully participating. And actually what we know now, science has proved that the baby is the one that actually initiates the labor by releasing a hormone into the amniotic fluid, and it goes into the mother's body, and she responds with oxytocin, which starts the contractions and keeps them going through labor. And their bodies do this fluid dance, so they're very much communicating with each other. And the baby is working to find the path of least resistance through the mother's pelvis and through the bones. And so the baby burrows with their head and squirms with their shoulders and pushes with their legs and feet against the top of the uterus, and fully participate in getting out of her body and into this new reality. And so instead of just looking at what the mother's going through, now I so relate to what the baby's going through too. And so if a labor is progressing along and then at some point it gets stalled or stuck, I not only talk with the mother, but I talk with the baby and ask the baby what the baby needs to do, and let the baby know that I'm really trusting his or her knowing about how to get born, as well as trusting the mother's body in how to give birth. And when a practitioner sits with a family in labor and there's a knowing and a trust about the process, it's sort of a relaxed, open field, rather than if there's fear or constriction in the practitioner, that can affect the mother's body too, to tighten and constrict. And so if things get stuck and the practitioner gets nervous, it actually does the opposite of what you're wanting to do in supporting the labor to move forward and progress.
This is the experience of the mother, the experience of the baby, and also in the field.
Yes.
You can add the experience of the practitioner that they are.
Exactly. Yeah. I studied in France with Michel Audant, and one of the things I've heard him say many times is that if adrenaline is in the room of a laboring woman, that it's contagious and it can cause constriction. And what I learned is that if oxytocin is in the room, that also is contagious, and that creates the field of relaxation. If everybody's connecting and trusting the process, it's more likely to move on.
Beautiful.